Hi, my name is Tara Wilson, and I'm going to talk about a couple of events that contribute to my personal leadership journey. So, I grew up in a really typical Christian home. I have a wonderful family. I have four siblings who I'm incredibly close with. I place a really high value on family because of that. Growing up, my parents had a lot of financial issues, but other than that, my childhood was pretty uneventful. In high school, I was an awful student. I became really rebellious. And the only reason I graduated was because I went to this after school program my senior year. And the only thing that motivated me to go to that was the idea that I would have to walk, I wouldn't be able to walk with my friends. So it was just too embarrassing to imagine not being able to do that. So after high school, college wasn't even on my radar. I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I moved to Kansas City to live and work with a friend of mine down there. And I met this amazing guy, or so I thought. And after about a year of being down there, I found out I was pregnant. And I remember being so terrified to tell my mom because in my family, something like this was completely unheard of. I had a cousin who got slightly drunk at a family get together once, and it was like this big deal. It was so taboo. And me getting pregnant was like obviously 100 times worse. But if my parents were disappointed, they never showed it. They were so supportive and they showered me with so much love and grace about the situation. I think I was so blessed because of that. So, after my son was born, I think I tried to subconsciously prove my self worth by becoming this perfect mom. And part of being a perfect mom was having this perfect family. So, my son's dad and I had this pretty tumultuous relationship, but I was determined to make it work. And I think it was mainly because I was obviously wanted to be a family, but I was so scared of having to be kind of labeled a single mom. And I was just determined I was going to change him. But the funny thing is, you cannot change another person. You cannot control another person, especially if they don't want to change. So when my son was about 3 years old, I thought we were at this point where we were about to get married, and I found out that he was basically living this completely double life. I mean, it was like the craziest things were going on. It felt like I was watching this ridiculous movie play out in front of me, but it was my life. And it was so painful because not only had the whole idea of a family fallen apart, but now I was dealing with this really nasty custody situation where I was now going to lose time with my son. And I remember this distinct moment where I was sitting in my car and I was just screaming. I was so upset and was yelling at God. And I was just thinking, this is so unfair. Why is this happening to me? And I had this thought like, okay, I have two choices now. So either I'm going to stay angry, which I could easily justify, and I'd become this horrible, resentful mom, or I'm going to choose to believe that God still has this amazing plan for my life, even though it does not feel like it right now. And I thought, well, my son does not deserve to grow up with a bitter, angry mom. So I have to choose to trust God, and it's going to suck, and I'm going to have to do it every single day. But I knew I did not want the alternative. So it was a couple months after that that I ended up applying to community college, where, big surprise, I found out I wasn't a complete idiot. I had just never really applied myself. And now I'm here and I'm at this point where I'm going to be graduating nursing school in a couple months. And it's crazy to look back and see how the entire situation worked out for good because I absolutely would not be in this position if that had not happened. I would never have forced myself to push through my insecurities and go to college. It really gave me both purpose and perspective on my life that has continued to grow and develop since. And I think it caused me to become so much stronger as an individual person. I used to just fall apart when challenges came, and now they motivate me. And I can see that I'm really capable of whatever I put my mind to. And as a leader, I think this is an important quality to be able to keep pushing not only yourself, but also others towards the end goal, especially when things come up to potentially derail whatever that goal is. So, on the flip side, one of my biggest fears is becoming complacent. I never want to not go after something because I'm too afraid I will fail, because I think that's how I operated prior to this entire thing happening. There are a lot of things I want to do in life now, but I know I have a lot of insecurities, and they come up every time I do something that makes me nervous or I try something new. So I have to continue to work through them every time I do because they're always coming up. I think there's value in vulnerability, and I think without it, you can't grow. And I want to continue to grow, and I think I will as my story continues to develop. And I think as a future leader, it's important to understand how your story might play into your strengths and your weaknesses, and then how to best utilize them because of that. So here's a picture of my son and I when he was like 4 years old. He's so little. And then this is a picture of him now. This is his first grade picture. So as you can see, I'm slightly obsessed with him, but that's all I've got. Thank you.